Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to Hanging with Mangg. We are playing Final Fantasy 14 again. I don't have to defend myself. I can play whatever I want. There's no rules. Yeah, so it was Christmas this week. I hope everyone that celebrates Christmas had a great Christmas, and everyone that does not had a great week otherwise. So I guess I had sort of an interesting Christmas. Christmas Eve, went over to my parents' house. Some family, we got together. We ordered in pizza. And then I watched Die Hard with my parents. So that was a good evening. Christmas Day is sort of like our big family Christmas party. There are gifts, but it's mostly for the kids. This year they did sort of a kind of a white elephant kind of thing, or everyone brought like a little gift. You know, some of them were kind of gag gifts, some of them were just not, something that a lot of people would want. And then they went around and gifts were stolen and laughs were had, and that went pretty well. It was mostly good. It was mostly a good Christmas Day kind of party. It's been like a year since we've had the whole family together, and COVID's not gone, but I don't know. I mean, most of my family's already had it, so I think it was just like, screw it, It's been a rough year. We're gonna take Christmas. We're gonna do Christmas. Then the day after Christmas is when just my immediate family gets together, and we do a lot of gift opening. That's like our big Christmas gift opening time. Just immediate family. We all show up in like pajamas. It's very relaxed. It takes us like 3 or 4 hours to open all the gifts, one by one. So that went pretty well. A lot of kids got VR this year. Oculus Quest 2s was a popular gift. So that's cool. And then for one of my nephews, all he wants is to be a YouTuber, of course. Like his cool Uncle Mangg. And so he figured that to be a YouTuber, he needs his own computer. He needs like a gaming computer. Which I don't think is strictly true. I mean, yeah, having any sort of computer is good. But I don't think you need a beefy computer to be a YouTuber. I mean, I could do what I do on a 10-year-old computer. Maybe some things would be slower, but I don't do anything that intensive. I mean, now that I'm going to get into Final Fantasy XIV videos, yeah, it's nice for it to look good, I suppose. But anyways, he decided he wants a computer. And he was fine with giving up all his Christmas gifts and all his birthday gifts for this year just to have a computer, a gaming computer. And so, and this was everybody in the family going in on this one big gift of a gaming computer. And we were all fine with that, so that was the plan. Now, me personally, I have sort of moved on from building my own computers. I know how to do so. I've done so in the past. I think it's fine. I think it's good to know, so you're not like, so you're not afraid of the internals of a computer. So if something goes wrong or you want to upgrade a part, you can just do that. I think that is important. But at this point in my life, I'd rather just get a pre-built so that if something goes wrong with a part, if a part is broken when they install it, they will know. If the motherboard is broken, they'll know before they ship it to you. At least I would hope so. It just takes a lot of hassle away, and I think in the old days, like, building your own computer was a lot cheaper. But nowadays, you have companies that will just take the parts you want. Oh, God. Oh, God. Yep, that's that. God damn it, I hate that pull. Every time I do this dungeon. It's because the healer has so little tools available to them. I have fucking regen and cure 1, cure 2. That's it. God damn it. Every time I do this dungeon, we wipe on that pole. What was I talking about? Right, yeah, so pre-built, I'm all in on pre-built. You have companies that will just, you pick out the parts, and they give you like good prices on the parts. And then they'll just charge like a $50 assembly fee or something like that. Or like a $75 assembly fee. Bada bing, bada boom. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. I don't need to deal with all the hassle of building my own computer. So I'm pro pre-built. My brother, though, is he's always been, a computer builder. He's always been, for other people, he'll always offer to build the computer, blah, blah, blah. He's always been against pre-builds. But he's sort of changing his tune because the idea was that this would be a learning experience for my nephew that wants to be a YouTuber. You know, like I said, it is good to know the interior of a computer and how it functions and things like that, how it all goes together. So this was, he was gonna unwrap the parts as we went, and we were gonna go over and slot them in as he went, and when at the end of the opening, he would have this finished computer. Well, the first issue was that we didn't have Windows. No one thought of that. So my dad had an external hard drive sitting around, and I happened to have my laptop there. So I'm like, okay, I can make a Windows installation. But, god damn it, dude. What the fuck? Why did that cure not go off? Why the fuck? Oh, god. I mean, I guess that was my fault, but god damn. It should not be this difficult. Just trying to talk. Why do I always play games? I need to just play like Bejeweled or something. I have to be limited to Bejeweled when I do Hanging with Mangg. Anyways, the Windows, we never even got to that step because when all was said and done, all the parts were installed, everything was ready to go. We plugged her in. And it didn't post. No post. And curiously, there was a delay from when you like flipped on the power button to when the computer actually powered on. Like when all the lights turned on, the fans turned on. There was a delay. Now, if you turned on the power, like, switch in the back on the power supply, and then waited a few seconds, and then hit the power button, then it was fine. So it, like, was taking time to power on. And then it wouldn't post. And the LED light on the motherboard indicated there was an error with the CPU. The CPU was not being detected, or it was failing. So we tried a few things and we're like, okay, we don't know what to do. Perhaps the CPU is busted. Now the odds of this are pretty slim, but you know, my brother and I aren't computer experts. We didn't go to college or anything like that for computer science. So, you know, we're just amateur people here that have put together computers in the past. So eventually we're like, okay, the CPU is probably busted, you know. So my sister and my brother-in-law, they rushed out to Best Buy day after Christmas at like 6 o'clock to go exchange the CPU. Because Best Buy happened to have another one in stock. They come back, we pop in the new CPU, still busted. So now we're like, okay, maybe the motherboard itself is busted. And by this point, obviously, it was getting pretty frustrating, but what can you do? So we tried a whole bunch of other things. We thought, okay, maybe it's like shorting out or something on the case, blah, blah, blah. We disconnected a lot of things. We reconnected a lot of things. At some point, we thought it was a shorting problem because we had like disconnected the motherboard from the case itself. And the CPU error went away, but then it switched to a VGA error. And so we thought, okay, the shorting problem maybe was causing the CPU error, but now we have this VGA error. And this was whether the graphics card was installed, whether it wasn't, but even if it wasn't installed, the onboard should have given us some sort of post. So we tried a bunch of more different things. We really had no clue. So at this point, we think it's the motherboard, but last night after I went home, I did some more Googling, and it seems like it could be an issue with the CMOS battery. Some guy said that he had like basically the same problem, and he just unplugged the CMOS battery for like 10 minutes and plugged it back in, and it was fine. So I was gonna message my brother last night, but I just remembered right now. So after this dungeon, I'm gonna tell him to give it a try. Otherwise, Monday we're gonna ship back the motherboard and get a replacement. I mean, he'll get a computer eventually. I mean, that it'll happen. But it's like this was his one gift. This was it. He didn't open like anything else. All Christmas Day, all of it. It was all for this. So, yeah, he was pretty bummed. He's like 10 or something. So, yeah, it's pretty rough. I can understand. So that was interesting. And then towards the tail end of our gift opening, my mom gets a call from my grandma that my grandpa is like not breathing. And he's been kind of in and out of the hospital. It's been rough. Not COVID related, just he's 100 years old. And he's getting pretty close. So, yeah, she gets a call that he's not breathing. So, I mean, obviously not like not breathing as in he died. But he must have had like a lot of difficulty breathing, or he was going in and out, or I don't know the specifics. So she told us this after gift opening was over. And then she went off to go check on him while we made dinner. Then, like, after dinner, she gives us a call. She needs somebody to help move him into the hospice bed. So my two brother-in-laws go over there to help move him into this hospice bed. As they move him, as they lift him and move him over to the hospice bed, he dies. And my mom and my aunt just say, "You killed our dad." They said it in sort of a joking manner. Obviously, that's not their fault. He was pretty much at the end. And we had all been sort of ready, I guess, for him to go. I mean, this was not a shock at 100 years old. So, you know, he made it. He made it to 100. He died in his own home with some family there. That's about as good as you can get, I think. But a month ago, we lost my dad's mom, my other grandma. So, yeah, 2020, man. Rough year. So it put a bit of a damper on our Christmas party, I guess, but that's all right. As for what I got, I asked for nothing. I mean, I'm doing well for myself. I'm a single guy. I don't really need anything, so I didn't ask for anything. But I got quite a lot, actually. Like, I plan on moving this year, so I got a bunch of stuff for the new house, like throw pillows and throw blankets. My parents got me like this really nice dartboard set, which is awesome. I got some clothes, of course. Some new shoes, some slippers. And then I got like a shit ton of cat toys. Like 100 cat toys. Because it's a lot easier to buy for my cats than it is to buy for me. So, yeah, I got like 100 little cat toys that I just dumped out into my kitchen last night. So they'll be busy with that for quite a while. So yeah, I mean overall it was a good Christmas. Anyways. Alrighty. So this week on this channel, we of course have more Final Fantasy 14. You know it. We have made it to Shadowbringers now, though. So we're in sort of the final act for the playthrough. But yeah, that'll continue for some time. We've got Dragon Quest V, which will not finish this week. It's like 13 parts, so probably the following week. We've got Cyberpunk, which will continue, and I don't think it'll finish this week. We've got Two Brothers Play. So we didn't do Two Brothers Play yesterday because that was our family Christmas. So tonight, in a handful of hours, we will be doing Two Brothers Play, continuing our Final Fantasy VI. We have the variety stream on Wednesday. I'll be doing the Blair Witch Hunt a Killer episode 3, which I'm hoping is quite a bit of fun because episode 2 was quite a bit of fun. And that's pretty much where we stand. You know, once Dragon Quest ends, like I said, we'll be doing the Doom Eternal DLC. But that won't be this week, so not much point mentioning it. Oh, you gotta be shitting. God damn it. Over on the Exploring series, I released a video on... It was part 2 of Past and Future, I think. Yeah, part 2 of Past and Future. Oh, god damn it. God damn it. Die. Oh, okay. That worked out. Cane of Crags. How's that look? Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. Let's take that. Nice. Just a second. Right. The Past and Future, it didn't blow away any numbers. I mean, it did okay. But not really any better than a normal episode, so I don't know. But it's fine. And then on Christmas Day, I released my 4.5 hour long At the Mountains of Madness audiobook, which, you know, I had been putting together for all of December. The view count for that is not blowing anything away, but it is at 34,000, and it is 4.5 hours long. So okay. A lot of compliments on that video, which is nice. A lot of compliments on that video. People are kind. Then, for tomorrow, I was going to release a video on the Church of the Second High Tall. That was the plan. That is what I spent the majority of this week working on. And then the time came to edit it together. And I was already like running behind because of all these Christmas shenanigans going on this week. But the time came to put it together. I was actually at the image step. I was looking for images. And I went back and I was looking at the Church of the Second High Toth hub, and I was poking around there. And I came across basically a large chunk of information that I had completely missed. Completely. Again, I blame the week of Christmas and all this for just having me in a tizzy. Normally, I don't think I would have missed all this, but I missed all of it. And I was like, okay, I either release this video essentially unfinished, incomplete, or I postpone it. Those are my two options. And, you know, it's sort of the thing of like, you know, an incomplete video or an unfinished video is always unfinished. Where, you know, a delayed video is only delayed temporarily. So, fortunately, I had been sort of planning ahead because I wanted to take this upcoming week off. I wanted to take a break, so I have to plan a video ahead. And I had mentioned that Smapty emailed me about this new Lord Blackwood tale, so I immediately had started working on that. That was mostly done by that point. So I'm like, all right, screw it. I'll call an audible. I'm just going to finish up the Blackwood video now, and we'll just finish the High Toth video next week. It sort of cuts into my break then, but what can you do? I fucked up. So the Lord Blackwood tale reading is what's going to come out tomorrow. And then the following Monday will be the complete Church of the Second High Toth. Overall, I think it's good because when I was putting together the High Toth video, I was like, I feel like something's missing. I'm like, this video is kind of short. I don't know. I feel like it could be longer, but at the time I was like, it's Christmas week. I'm burned out. I'll just send it. But yeah, I think overall it'll be better for it. So should be good. And people love Lord Blackwood. Most people won't even care or notice that I made a swap. So whatever. Yeah, and then this probably Tuesday, I think. Let's go with Tuesday. I'm going to announce the Final Fantasy XIV series. Probably going to be plenty of dislikes on that video. And as far as the first episode of that, I have recorded footage. I've recorded about 4 or 5 hours of footage. I've started the writing process. And then we just have to see how time-consuming the editing process is. On the one hand, I don't have to hunt for images, so that's nice. But I just don't know how quick I'll be able to cut down 5 hours of footage. You know, it doesn't really... I don't have to get, like, super specific with, like, lines of dialogue. Since I'm not reading the dialogue, it's not, like, essential that what the characters are talking about on screen matches what I'm summarizing. But that's sort of the thing of why I never like having text on screen in a video, is because people focus on the text. They start reading that, then they're not paying attention to what I'm saying. And if there's a disconnect, you know, it's not like subtitles, then, you know, they'll gloss over what I'm talking about, and then they might get confused, or they might lose track of what's happening, and then blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. But I'm never going to be really reading the dialogue verbatim, so it's always going to be an issue whether I'm showing the correct dialogue or not. Ever think about covering the various MTFs in the SCP universe? I get that request a lot, and I'm not really sure why. MTFs aren't that interesting. There are like 2 or 3 interesting, memorable MTFs. And then the rest, the only memorable thing really is like their name. And that's usually just in connection with whatever SCP you're talking about. I mean, maybe I can do a video about like Samsara. That's like an interesting team. But beyond that, even like the most interesting MTF, I don't really know what to talk about. I find like something like that, a topic like that is just better sort of explored gradually as you go through the entire series. Like the mole rats. Like if I just made an MTF video and I got to the section on mole rats, what exactly would I say that would be that interesting on its own? Like, yeah, this is a team specializing in exploration of anomalous locations. But it's like the interesting part is the actual explorations of the anomalous locations, and that's covered in specific different SCP videos. You know, but I mean, like mole rats in SCP-184 or mole rats in SCP-1730. You sort of, need the context of the SCPs to sort of appreciate that the mole rats are interesting. And even then, the SCPs are the more interesting aspect. So I don't know. I'm not big on the idea, I guess is what I'm saying. I like every video to sort of tell a good story in some way. That's why I tend to cover long, lengthy, complex SCPs, is you basically are telling a story. Stuff like that, MTFs, how do I tell a good story in that video? And that, people want me to cover a bunch of the other doctors, a bunch of the other Foundation doctors. And it's like, I've already covered basically the only 2 that have good stories. Like, they want a video on Sumerian. It's like, if you can give me, like, a bullet point list telling me the good story around Dr. Sumerian, please do. I am anxiously awaiting such a thing. But it's like, if you watch my Bright video, if you watch my Clef video, you can sort of see the story that's been created around these characters. Now, granted, it's just sort of one of multiple different stories. But still. And it's like Bright pops up a lot in other stories. So it's really nice to have sort of a singular narrative that you can connect him to. So it's like, okay, I understand Bright's character a little bit now. So when he pops up in SCP-5000, I can understand him a little bit. Or Clef, he has the whole Montauk House thing. It's like, you watch the Clef video, watch the Montauk House, it all works out. The other doctors, they pop up just like, they're basically just name dropped, really, once in a while. So I don't know. I really have very little interest in covering any other doctor until someone can point to me and say, look, this is a good narrative. You look at this tale and this tale and this tale, piece it together, it's a good narrative. That's basically what Bright and Clef were. So that I guess is ultimately my answer on the MTF thing, is where is the good narrative? That's what makes a good video, in my opinion. Because if you just want like a summarization of like information about the MTFs, just go look at the document. There's like one document that summarizes all of it. I mean, I could just read that, I guess, but no, it's the stories that really carry things. Do I have a favorite author for SCP? Yep, that would be DJ Cactus. Who, he did not write my favorite SCP, which is 3001. But by and large, I would say his work is cumulatively my favorite. Which makes me sad that he's on hiatus now. Anyways. So yeah, the first Final Fantasy episode will be released. If I had to spitball a number, a date, I would say the 8th, the 7th or the 8th of January. Let's shoot for that. It's possible I'll have it finished before then, but kind of unlikely, as I did kind of want to take a break this week. Yeah. I'm just, yeah, kind of tired. It'd be nice to just bring in the new year, rested, relaxed, ready to kick some ass in 2021. October, November, December is always just like a rough stretch. That's when the ad rates are the highest, so you really just gotta pump shit out on YouTube. And then January, things dip down, which I guess you could argue means that it's more important to be productive to compensate, but I don't know. Gotta take a break sometime. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, my family, I think I talked about this last week. My family wants to get back into RPGs. So, probably going to start that before too long. And last time we left off with Maze Rats, I was doing Hot Springs Island. Maze Rats is a great system. Hot Spring Island is a really cool setting. Like a really cool hex crawl kind of campaign. But I think it was a little too freeform for them. They didn't have enough guidance to really make the most of it. I think they kind of enjoyed it, but they were just bumbling around and, you know, I don't know really where that was going. So we're going to make some changes. I'm going to run Knave, which is from the same creator of Maze Rats, but gives a little bit more structure. Not too much, just a little bit. A little bit more structure, and it allows for... It's compatible with OSR systems or OSR modules, old school Renaissance stuff. So that means that I can run all sorts of like awesome OSR things, which is good because I don't want to homebrew too much because I'm a lazy asshole. But obviously a lot of OSR stuff is like dungeon crawls, which is fine. But I was like, okay, is there a good like basic non-dungeon crawl OSR adventure? You know, something that's more based on like a town or social, basically something more social based. Because I think like for my brother-in-law, his favorite session we ever did was when they were like trying to sneak into a prison or something like that. And there was like this they were working with this dwarf or something who double-crossed him, and then they like kidnapped him, or it was something, I don't remember the specifics, but it was like, this wasn't just a go here and smash, you know, they had to like use some bluffing and use some stealth and things like that, and he really liked that. So I was like, is there like a basic OSR social based module? And there is. This guy had, well, there wasn't, and then this guy decided to create it because there wasn't one. So it's called Kidnap the Archpriest. Kidnap the Archpriest. And this is designed to be basically a tutorial for new players to teach them diplomacy, stealth, theft, bluffing, and planning. And it's not like a tutorial in the sense of, oh, you should talk to this guy and bribe him with 100 gold pieces. No, but it's more of just like, it's basic in a lot of ways, but it's also very flexible. I mean, if Ziggy threw this sort of thing at us, like, we would just wipe the floor with it. It would be really no issue whatsoever. The basic concept is that you are sent to this town, this city, and there is an archpriest who is holed up in his like fortified castle there, fortified cathedral, that's like filled with guards and has multiple floors and stuff. And you need to kidnap the archpriest and bring him back to the capital city. That's it. And how you do that is really the flexible thing. And so this module is really nice because basically all it does is it gives you some hooks that you can sort of work into the session, but really it just maps everything out for you for the DM. So every room of this castle cathedral thing is mapped out, and every person that is inside of this castle has like a timetable that they follow, and this is a time-based thing. It takes place over 3 days maximum. So there's this big timetable of from when the players arrive in the city to when the archpriest like flees away and is, you can't get him. He basically runs away with a highly fortified guard, and you can't get him at that point. So it's a 3-day timeline, and every notable person has all of their events, all of their whole itineraries mapped out. So if players go here at this time, you know exactly what is happening in that room or in that location. You know who is there or who isn't there and blah, blah, blah. So it's really a nice little thing. I can't wait to run it. It's something that I would absolutely love to play in just because, you know, I do like, you know, demolishing scenarios as like this. Whereas, you know, another kind of OSR module that's just, here's a big dungeon filled with traps and monsters, and you got to go through it. That doesn't appeal to me as much as a player, because I can't outsmart that, really. I mean, you have to just put in the work. This, you can outsmart. And already, I read through the module, and I was sitting there thinking, I was like, how would I do it? And I came up with like 3 plans, and I'm like, yeah, that would be the best. This would be pretty good. This would be funny. So I'm really curious. I am really excited to run this and just see what they come up with and how they handle it, because they are in desperate need of a tutorial on how to do stealth and diplomacy and bluffing and planning. You know, and so I'm tempted to maybe give them like 3 hints. You know, they have this a pool of 3 hints, and anytime they're sort of stumped, you know, they can ask the DM for a hint about what they could do. That might help them out a little bit, because they are very new. Especially if Ziggy does not play with them, if Ziggy and his wife don't join us. Having an experienced player would certainly help a lot. But, yeah, the fact that this is designed for new players is great. So yeah, Knave with this module should be really good. Obviously I won't stream it or anything like that, but if you follow Hanging with Mangg, I'll tell you all about it. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So yeah, more Final Fantasy 14, of course. More Dragon Quest 5, of course. More Cyberpunk, of course. Hunt a Killer, Blair Witch Episode 3 on Wednesday, I think. And later tonight, Two Brothers play Final Fantasy 6. Should be all good. We've got a Lord Blackwood tale tomorrow over on the Exploring series. And I will be announcing Final Fantasy 14. Story. The story of Final Fantasy 14. That's the title I came up with. That's not very evocative, is it? I didn't want to do Exploring Final Fantasy 14 because it's really... I'm not exploring it. It's a very different series. Exploring, I feel, is mostly topic-based. This is not topic-based, so I didn't want to call it that. So I'm just calling it the story of Final Fantasy 14, and then, like, Episode 1, Welcome to Eorzea. That's the format for the title. Unless somebody comes up with something better, but I doubt it. So, yeah, alright. My name is Mangg. Game you're watching, no. But game you have been watching has been Final Fantasy 14, but... Jose, good luck on the Final Fantasy series. Not personally interested, but I'll watch the first episode. Well, hey, that's all I can ask. That's all I can ask, really. I hope it intrigues you, but if not, it's all good. I mean, I know not many people are going to be that interested in it. But I hope it does well enough that I'm, inspired to keep doing more video game stuff, because that interests me a lot. So, eventually I could get to video games that interest other people. But all right, my name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. I'll see you fine folks next week.